And today we're going to talk about a topic that I think you'll really be interested in, and it's this. How can you be sure? We're talking about how can you, not your wife, your husband, your kids, how can you, whoever you're watching out there, how can you be sure that you'll spend eternity with God? We all know we're going to die. The question is, will you be with God or will you be someplace else? All right? And today we're going to talk about a topic that goes with that, and we're talking about the gift that you can't do without. Everybody likes gifts, right? You like a gift. I like gifts. But God says He's given away a gift that you can't do without. And Erwin, what is this gift? Jesus actually, He opened up the conversation about this gift because it was a gift that God does spiritually in the lives of people. And He was talking to a religious leader in John chapter 3, and He expected this religious leader to know it, boom, right off the bat. But as you read the conversation, we will see that he did not know what Jesus was talking about.
And you know, John, in order to put this in context, He was speaking to Nicodemus, who was a ruler of the Jews. That meant that Nicodemus had the responsibility of making sure the Jewish law was enforced. He was one of the top leaders. And he comes to Jesus at night. And probably the reason is because he didn't want to be seen. Jesus was supposed to be his enemy, but he knows there's something about Jesus that intrigues him. He says, I know that you are a teacher come from God, because nobody can do what you're doing unless God is with him. Now, Jesus, who knows everything, doesn't even really wait for a question. And to all those who are listening today, this is so incredibly important, because Jesus said, if you don't have this miracle in your heart, you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Let's hear it from Jesus himself. And by the way, Jesus is an authority on this. He is an authority on this. I remember being on a plane, I'm witnessing to this person who says, well, I think if I do the best I can, I'll get to heaven. I said, really? What is your authority? I said, did God reveal that to you? Because how could you possibly know what God's requirements are? And then I pointed him to Jesus, who speaks to us with great authority. And everyone needs to listen to this, because Jesus says, truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. And I'm going to pause here and simply say that there are many people out there who would say that they were born again because of baptism or because of this or a change of mind. John, as we shall see, Jesus is talking about a miracle that only God can do. Now let's remember, our last session together was on justification by faith. Justification happens outside of us. It is God's declaration that we are righteous.
Legal declaration, right.
The legal declaration. This is a work within us. They happen simultaneously, but they must be distinguished. Well, anyway, Nicodemus thinks of obstetrics. How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter a second time into his mother's womb and be born? I have to pause here and say I was witnessing to a man in Germany, and I happen to know these verses in German, and he asked me the very same question when I told him he had to be born again. He said, I'm old. How can I be born again?
Right.
So Jesus answers and says, truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born of water and the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God.